The taxpayers would probably like to know, are you going to need more from us? And how much, and when are you going to ask?
Brian, I want to say this way. The lesson of this crisis here in this country, and I think it's true the lesson of financial crises around the world, is that governments tend to underestimate the ultimate cost and damage. They tend to move too late to try to address the crisis, and that makes the crises worse, more expensive, and more damaging. Our judgment is that it'll be cheaper over the longer term. It'll cost the taxpayer less over the longer term, and we'll see less damage to American business if we're more forceful up front in trying to put enough force behind this to help it get it to work.
Is our banking system broken, bankrupt?
No, I think, as I said earlier, parts of our system are very strong. Many banks were not part of the problem, and they're going to be part of the solution. We have this enormously diverse country with 8,000 financial institutions, very different circumstances. Very important we not tar them all with the same brush. Some of them were well managed, some of them were less well managed. Our approach is going to try to differentiate among them to try to make sure we're giving assistance to those that need it and using, again, that taxpayers' money as wisely as we can to help facilitate this adjustment process, make sure it happens at least risk to the overall economy as a whole.
Let's talk about a world you're very familiar with, and that's Wall Street. Should the system of compensation, i.e., Wall Street bonuses that have been everyone's favorite target and under fire so much of late, should that change?
Absolutely, and it's going to have to change. We're focused not just on trying to make sure that the conditions Congress passed are being met and enforced, but we've set out new conditions that would apply to new forms of assistance to the system. But as important as that, we need to try to transform the overall system of incentives around the financial system, because those incentives were part of what caused this crisis.
It's gotten awfully personal here. As you know, at least one columnist called "You are getting this job" the administration's Mulligan. I had a senior Democrat in Washington say to me, Geithner got in under the wire. Daschle was not so fortunate. Has this been more personal than you thought, and has your own tax trouble undermined at all the job you're trying to do?
Brian, I screwed up. But my focus is on helping this president solve this country's problems. And everything I do is going to be motivated by helping him do the extraordinary things we're going to need to do to get this economy back on track.
Tomorrow, a lot of guys you know, prominent bankers, are going before Congress. And we may hear more than one member of Congress saying somebody ought to go to jail for what has happened in this country. Where is the accountability? Is it time we heard it?
I agree and very much share the basic view that the quality of judgments you've seen across the financial system are just deeply troubling. And as I said today, they have made our job so much harder, because it makes it so much harder to explain to people why the things we think are necessary to help small businesses and families get access to credit are necessary and important. And so we need to bring a much higher standards of basic responsibility and care of judgment across the system. I know the President believes this strongly, and it is in the interest of those institutions and their boards of directors that they demonstrate, again, a higher quality of basic judgment.